Welcome to the Family Editor video presentation. We've already used the Family Editor in many of the modules, like the profiles that we created for the wall reveal using the template Profile Reveal, the wall sweep using the Profile Hosted, and the curtain wall mullions using the Profile Mullion. We created a customized surface pattern using the curtain panel family base family file that was then loaded and nested inside another family mass file, which was loaded into the Revit file. You can download additional families on websites like this seek.autodesk.com. You can see here the window family and several others in this list, or at revitcity.com under downloads. There's a whole list of different Revit family files that you can download for free. Several of my students have accumulated files very quickly from websites like these. Families are organized into categories to create elements specific to architectural features. First, think of what category to use and how those elements work within the Revit file. Some of these categories will let you change the category once you start, and some categories are set up to cut when intersecting a view plane. In the Manage tab under Object Styles, you can see which categories will cut under line weight. Notice that the doors will, but the entourage, people, and the furniture will not cut. When you create a new family, there are several family templates to choose from. We've used some of these families, but keep in mind that some are based on whether they're hosted or are part of a ceiling or a wall. Once you use a ceiling-based template, you won't be able to switch it to a wall-based template. Deciding on which template to use is important. You can also open family files. There's several in the Imperial Library that come with Revit, and modify these family files, always saving them as a new name and in a different folder structure. Inside this window family, as we said before, elements like windows and doors called inserts or host-based families will be placed into a wall called a host. The wall or host that's included in the family template will not be loaded into the project. Only the geometry, symbolic lines, and reference plane will be loaded. In the View tab, let's draw a couple of sections. We'll draw a building section, and a wall section. If you select your building section, pick Edit Type and take a look at some of the parameters. In the graphics under Section Tag, you'll see that there are several different section heads that you can use. So we can customize our annotation using families. We'll go to the Application menu and create a new family. Then open the Annotations folder so that we can use the section head family template. In this family template, you'll see that there's a note and already reference planes in place. One of the first things we should do is save the file as a different name and put it in a different folder. Navigate to the folder that you'd like to use to save this new section head, and let's call it My Section Head. Notice that you're using a template to create a family file, an RFT to create an RFA. Go ahead and pick Save. We'll delete this note and these arcs so that we can create our own section head. And now I'll need to add a label For my detail number, I can pick Label
in the Create tab
under the text panel, and then pick here a spot where I think it will be. In the list of category parameters, I'll highlight detail number and then pick this icon, Add Parameters to Label. There's the detail number. Pick OK. Then I'll go back to the Home tab and select the label icon again and pick underneath here this triangle to establish a sheet number. Highlight sheet number and then add the parameter and pick OK. And that's the extent of creating a new section head. We can then save it and load it into the Revit file. Now that we have our section head loaded, we'll need to go to the Manage tab and under Additional Settings, go to Section Tags to establish our section head. Under Section Tags, we have several different types of heads, but we'll need to duplicate these in order to establish our own parameter. So pick the Duplicate button, and let's call this My Section Tag, and pick OK. For the My Section Tag, under Section Head, we can now change this section head to your section head, My Section Head. So we establish a new section head, and now we're attaching it to the section tag. Let's go ahead and pick OK. Now I can go back to the View tab and start the Section tool. Under Edit Type in the Properties, we have a building section and a wall section. We're going to duplicate these two sections to create an entirely new section called My Section. And under My Section, we're going to change the section tag to My Section Tag. Which holds the section head. We duplicated the wall section and called it My Section, and then we changed the section tag to My Section Tag. We can go ahead and pick OK, and now you'll see it here as the current wall section. I can go ahead and place it and see my new customized section head. Under Additional Settings and Section Tags, we can change the type to My Section Tag, and we could have also changed the tail when we changed the head to something different, like this horizontal filled section tail, or customized our own and pick OK and see that that will also update. So we can use the Family Editor and the family files and templates to update our annotation. Let's take a look now at creating another custom family. We're going to nest one family into another. We're going to link parameters and control their visibilities and create formulas for these parameters. Start a brand new Revit project, and then we'll open up the family file that's posted on Blackboard called Table Round. Navigate to where you saved that file and let's open it. We opened the file called Table Round. Now we're going to load another family file into this one. We'll go to the Insert tab and pick Load Family, and then navigate to the other file that was posted on Blackboard called Chair M. Boyer. It's a tubular steel Bauhaus chair. We'll go to the Home tab and to Component, and you'll see this chair. Use your space bar to rotate it, and then place it here at the top of the table at those two reference plane intersections. Use your Escape key or pick Modify. Now that we have our family with another family file, the chair, loaded inside of it, we can, in the Properties panel, choose Type for family types, and this is where we're going to establish our parameters. We can pick the Add button and type in chairs. The type of parameter is going to be an integer, meaning how many chairs, and the group we'll put under construction. Go ahead and pick OK, and you'll see your new parameter that you created under construction. Now pick the Add button to create another parameter called radius, so that we can control the radius of the table, and keep the type of parameter as length and the group parameter dimensions. Go ahead and pick OK. Now under radius, we're going to establish a formula, which is diameter divided by 2. Make sure that you type in diameter exactly the way that it is here, as these formulas will need the exact type in. Also, for the chairs, we're going to create a formula that is diameter times, which is asterisk, 3.14, which is really pi, divided by 2 foot 6 inches, which is the radius of the table. The diameter times pi is the circumference of the circle, divided by the radius, which will help us to establish how many chairs that will be placed around this table. We'll go ahead and pick OK, and then select the chair so that we can use the Array tool in the Modified panel. We can pick Array, and then pick in front of radial, the number is 3, and last, and then hold your left mouse button down on this center rotation point and drag your mouse down to the corner, changing that base point for the polar array to the center of the table. Pull your mouse straight up and left click. Then type in the angle of 360 and press enter. And then, noticing that 3 is down here in the box, press enter again to create an array of 3 chairs. Now we can place a radius dimension here to reference the radius to the array reference, and then place a label on that dimension. So in the Annotate tab, we can pick radial and just rest your pointer on the edge of the circle here and press your tab key until you see at the bottom left corner array reference, and then click. And then pull your mouse into space here and left click. Use your escape key or modify, and then select that dimension, and in the options bar under label we'll establish the parameter radius here for that dimension. Now we're going to link the chairs to the circle circumference by selecting the chair and then resting your pointer over that little 3 that appears at the bottom of the table and using your tab key to tab until you see at the bottom left corner array, and then left click. You'll know that it worked if you see the temporary dimensions up here. We want to change the label in the options bar to chairs. It will automatically show us 6 chairs based on a radius of 2 foot 6. If we go to the family types in the Properties panel, we can change our radius to something different like 3 feet and pick Apply, and see that the number of chairs changes based on the radius and their circumference of the table. Notice that where it says name 60-inch diameter, we have a 36-inch diameter, 60, and 84. We need to check those to make sure by default that they are set up for that diameter. So we can go to 36-inch diameter and check that the diameter is 3 feet. Go to the 60-inch diameter and we'll change that diameter back to 5 feet and pick apply. And then the 84-inch diameter, let's change that diameter to 7 foot 6 inches and pick apply. Now we're going to create a group parameter so that we can change the visibility of the chairs. We'll pick the add button and we'll call this display chairs. And the type of parameter is going to be yes, no, whether we want the chairs to display or not. We'll put this under the group parameter construction and then pick OK. You'll notice that there's a display chairs and a small check mark. Now we can pick OK and edit this group of chairs so that we can attach a visibility parameter. Select the chair and pick edit group, and then inside this editor select the chair, and in the properties you'll see under graphics visibility. We can pick the small icon to the far right of visibility and associate the family parameter display chairs to this chair group. Highlight display chairs and pick OK, and then pick finish to finish the editing. Now let's go to the family types. Make the 36-inch diameter name current, pick apply, and then we're going to create a new family type that's called 36-inch diameter no chairs. Pick OK and then take the check mark out of display chairs. This can also be done after we've loaded it into the Revit file. We can create several new family types here depending on what we need, or after we've loaded it into the Revit file, we'll be able to duplicate as we do duplicate other settings. We can go ahead and pick OK and then save this file and load it into your project. You'll see in the properties drop down all of the different chairs that we created in that family file. We can place the 36-inch diameter with the chair, one without the chair, the 60-inch diameter, 84-inch diameter, and we'll place two of these. If we select this table and chairs, we can still pick edit types and then duplicate this 84-inch diameter and call it 84-inch diameter no chairs, and take the check mark out of display chairs and pick apply and OK. So for any one of these you could select it, pick the edit type and duplicate these types and change their parameters. Let's go to the 3D view, turn on the visual displays to shaded with edges, and even turn on your shadows and take a look at the different configurations we made with this table and chairs based on parameters within family files.
You can experiment with selecting your table and chairs and picking edit type and changing the base material and top material.